Right. I'm a minute early or so, but I wanted to make sure that everything was working well. So please, YouTube, don't be a jerk. Make it so that people can see my comments and they can hear me and whatever. So I will wait for people to tune in. I know I'm early, but I just wanted to show up and make sure that the uh the stuff was working. Spreading sunshine. Good morning to you too. Real quick, can you see and hear me? If you can you put it in the chat, just a thumbs up, and then I'll zip it? Okay, so good. I can tell Cheryl Siegel can see me because she's saying cute hair. And the crazy thing is now, okay, perfect. Mwah. Thank you, you guys. Okay, good. It's been wonky sometimes, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see me, and that's why I showed up like a minute early. Now, yay! Okay, Star Queen. There we go. I'm out of the car. Yes, and I've got my hair is looking not 100% like I want it to because I need to take a shower and do it all my own way. I'm still feeling kind of greasy, frankly. But yeah, I'm out of the car and in my office. Oh, here, you know what? Let me do this too. Boop. Oh, there we go. There's a light. Feels better. Yay. So here we are. Thank you for the folks who showed up for my unexpectedly early YouTube Live or TikTok Live rather. Penny Myers, here I am. It's all good. Thank you for being concerned about me. So here in a nutshell, and I'll tend like 30 seconds. In a nutshell, what happened was this is there we go. Lisa Bennett says you're live just in time for me. I need to get my day going. So awesome. So this YouTube Live is going as scheduled. As those of you who are on the mailing list know that I was going to start at noontime. Now, here's what happened with the TikTok live. Okay. I screwed up. I made a mistake. Oh my God. Color me human. I walked into the hair place at 10 o'clock to get my hair done. And I look over and see my guy Phil, like literally not just zhuzhing somebody up at the end of a thing, but in mid cut. And so I went over to the lady at the desk and I said, "Oh my God, I thought I had a 10 o'clock with Phil because I'm thinking because I had an 11 o'clock TikTok and a noontime YouTube." And she's like, "No, you're scheduled 11." So it was whoops. No, it was me. It was me. And I try really hard to show up when I planned things. I think, honest to God, I don't keep track of it, but I think in all of the YouTubes and stuff that I have done, um, I have completely m- been wicked late to one, and then things have gotten in the way with maybe two others. So everything is fine. I appreciate you guys being concerned, and rightly so, because I'm so good at showing up when I'm supposed to be. Yeah, no, it was all me. So what I tried to do, yeah, exactly. See, your track record speaks for itself. So notice even what Penny was saying, and thank you, Judy Dukes. Yeah, I literally feel like I could weigh myself and I could weigh myself and it would be pounds lighter for the hair that I'm not carrying on my head. Yeah. So thank you for your worry. But notice that things will happen in life occasionally that will throw a plan off. And it doesn't mean anything truly bad is happening, though you might be curious as to why it didn't happen, but trust that everything is okay. Yeah, it was me going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But what I tried to do was quickly kind of rebound from that unexpected thing. So I walked out and I said, okay, well, what can I do? And I said, I can do, yeah, shit happens. I can do a TikTok live from my car. So notice that just because something is different doesn't mean necessarily that anything wrong has happened. Life is unpredictable. We try to predict it, we try to make it as predictable as possible. But even when we try to do that, we are humans ourselves. What I did, honestly, was when I made the appointment for my next haircut, I literally put the time it was starting in the subject line of it in my schedule, and I read it back to him to increase the likelihood that he and I were on the same page, so that when I schedule lives around it in June, which is only a month away, um, is it increases the likelihood that I'll be able to continue to be a trustworthy source, a source worthy of your trust. So, yes, look at me thinking on my feet. Yeah. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. I could have spun out and freaked out and been like, oh my God, this is awful. I told everybody I was going to be there. And what can I do? And I can't be there till 11. And maybe calm down, quiet down, trust. What can I do here? And I was like, well, I have an hour. I've got my phone. I've got someplace to sit, AKA my car. So there will be a recording of the TikTok live that I did from my car in my raincoat. And they were, yeah, simmer down now. Okay. Simmer down. That's another one. Yay. Now, I love this. Hey, this is good. I love that Judy Dukes is showing up because she showed up for declutter party yesterday and realized that she had a small roadblock in that she was getting stuff together to donate, but she wasn't doing the donating. So I, with love and encouragement, said, "Hey, could you possibly do the declutter? Could you possibly be doing the donating on Monday or Tuesday so that we can give you encouragement?" So I love this. Judy says, great news. Back of the car is full of bags and the unneeded items have been unloaded at the thrift shop. Rock on. Now, Kat Roby is saying, hey, yo, gabba, gabba, hey. Glad to see you as well. Emotional SBB. She's using this time to price some of her nurses' items for nursing this week, or excuse me, nursing items for Nurses Week, as I let go and sell of some very cherished items of mom's with intention and purpose. Yeah. Notice intention and purpose, and cherish is a word I use to describe. Cherish, cherish. Doesn't that make you just want to kind of put something closer to your heart that you cherish? So notice that, but it's may also be time for it to go to a new home, and that's okay. So I get it. Things can be emotional. This was kind of funny. I will share with you um, that I was, there we go. And notice when we do things with intention, when we do this with things that are being thoughtful and mindful and kindful, that it can feel a little less struggly. Now, Kat says mom was a nurse and a nurse educated. So, Nurses Week and graduation, making it so I can part with things with love. Yay. You know? Now, I love this. I love that Laura Voorhees is saying that she is kind of just by leading by example. Her husband's picking up on the whole decluttering thing, saying last night Hubs asked, where do we put stuff we don't want? She had an answer. She says, my clear bin downstairs. How about the clear bin downstairs? It's his too now. Hubs helping declutter for the win. Now, Laura, I love all of that. I think we could zhuzh up that phrase by doing two minor things. And yeah, if somebody, Kimmy's hearing some static. Can everybody hear me okay? If not, I'll see. I don't know what I could do, but I can try. Um, uh, in the clear bin, not being owned by you. Okay, Cat is doing it. Let me see what I can do here. All right, there's static. Okay, let me see what I can do on my end. Can you hear me now any better? Okay. If it gets to be truly a problem, what we can all do is I can sign off and then do another one and come back on, and that may fix it. Okay. But what I want to offer to you is decluttering is not just your stuff. Decluttering is everybody. Okay. So technology, how cool that we have technology to connect us. If the fuzziness gets totally in the way of the statement and all, or the messaging, then I can sign off and sign back on again, and you all know to do that. But we'll work with what we have right now. Okay. So I just offer to you, because this is great. Where do we put stuff we want? We put it in our clear bin downstairs. Notice the subtle shift in words indicates that it's not thank you for helping me with my thing, but thank you for doing your part in our thing. Okay. But great stuff. Great stuff. Getting in the habit of recognizing what you don't want. It's like the mic is rubbing on something. I'm not even plugged in. The mic is the one I'm using on my computer, and I don't even know where it is. So random. So random. Huh. I don't it's so funny because I'm actually looking for I think it might be up here. Nope, nothing's touching. I will do the best I can. I will try to articulate. Yeah, and the funny thing is, honestly, Kat, like it's not plugged in the way. Here, let me try this. This might help. Let's just experiment since I don't want anything to get in the way of us being very clear. I'm going to turn on. Okay, Heather MC is like I can hear you no problem. Let me try this. I'm going to turn on an external mic. Okay. Now, does this change at all? Can you hear me at all with this one? I'll wait for some things to go in the chat. Is this better or worse? I'm thinking channel level settings. Oh, ick, now I did something weird. Close. Okay, you can hear me better? Okay, cool. No big deal. I'll wear these then. I don't care. Yay. Thank you for letting me know. Notice, thank you. Yep, Kat is saying I think it's still using the other. Okay. Um, Okay, many people are saying it's better. I don't mind putting on my earbuds, so we'll go with that, and I'll even hold it up like this. I had a I had a one-on-one client. Actually, it was a couple. It was a woman and her older mother. Of course, her mother would be older because if she wasn't older, she it would be kind of weird. And her mom was a bit of hard of hearing, so I got in the habit of doing that. Still static, but better. Interesting. You know what? It could literally be. Think of all the air particles and wires that my voice is going through in order to get to you. There might be a little fuzz there, but not enough to distract us from what we're doing. So we could focus on the fuzz, but let's focus on the clarity. All right, let's focus on the message and let's use this time for good. We can, there we go. Let's all let it go. We can live with less than perfect. Yep. This is what I choose to believe, you guys, okay? I love the fact that we have a technology that's free and available to us, that we don't have to pay for, that allows us to connect. So it may be hinky at sometimes, but kind of you get what you pay for. So, can you hear me? There we go. And Robin says I can still hear you and appreciate your voice. Okay, cool. Notice that sometimes the messaging in your head might be less than clear. Now, what could help with this, honestly, it could be, and maybe I'll try to do this at some point. I don't even know if you can, but hey, let's try to take some good out of the not so good. I wonder if there is a way that I could have what do you call it? Like what do, captions. Captions, maybe as I'm doing this live, a caption, so you would be not having to worry about understanding what I'm saying, yet you would have to watch the screen. So just notice that. Okay. Yay. So Ellen, it has been a minute. Yeah. So really quick, just since I am assuming that you all know me, but on the off chance that you don't, my name is Beth and I am a decluttering life coach. And my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. It's called Destination Decluttered here on YouTube. It is called Destination Decluttered on TikTok. And most importantly, it is called DestinationDecluttered.com on the internet. Now, I say most importantly because the what do you call it? I have a mailing list. Now, I am assuming because you all showed up for me at a certain time that you're on the mailing list. So I'm talking to the mailing list people, and just because I'm gonna send out an email about an apology for earlier today, but also a heads up for Wednesday, or excuse me, Saturday the 17th. This is one of the reasons why I don't put the dates of the declutter parties and the times usually in an email. But last week when I sent out the big email, I did. I want to alert you all that it was requested of me, and I was able to do it, that it was requested by a number of people to start some of the declutter parties earlier in the day, East Coast wise, as the weather is getting more spring and summery. It is in that people said it would be easier to show up if the declutter party started earlier on Saturdays. So I looked at the schedule. And so, just so you know, the declutter party that is scheduled for Saturday, May 17th. The start time has been changed to 8 a.m. Eastern. It's already reflected on anything that you would look at except for the email for last week that is a bit outdated. So here's an example of where if you print out an email or you do a screenshot of a website page, it is able to change after you do that. So I just offered to you to just a heads up that it was going to be starting at noontime, but a number of people said that they could show up more easily if it was early in the morning. So I decided to do that. And also kind of looking ahead to the ones in June, and I have no idea when those are going to be scheduled, that I'm going to be starting them earlier because people want to spend more of their weekend day having fun. So just think about how easy it could be. Get up a little bit earlier, do some decluttering, and then you can go spend a day at the pool or what have you. Okay. So notice this. Laura Voorhees likes to use the word pinball. She pinballed around her house this morning. So now when she sits down at the keyboard and the piano keyboard, not the computer keyboard, her mind is much calmer. Now I like to call it, because I like a rhyme, putter and declutter, kind of puttering around, decluttering around. So I offer to you, let me check the time here. It's 12:15 Eastern time. I will be doing this live for another 45 minutes. Now, that 45-minute pie can be chopped up in a number of different slices. So, could you set a timer on your own and say, for the next X many minutes, I'm going to putter and declutter? Practice using a timer to help you stay kind of on focus. You could use the whole time. I just say this to highly encourage you to, as I am here keeping you company, the voice of encouragement, the voice of curiosity, the one that's stopping the backseat drivers and quieting them down so that we can turn up the volume on your co-pilot voice, saying, what can you do with this time you have with me along as your co-pilot? What can you do declutter wise? Now, the best thing ever to do is just check in with your physical body and your energetic body. And if you're not feeling so calmed down, what could you do to calm yourself down so that you feel better, you feel calmer when you start doing other things? Learning how to basically declutter, to quiet down your brain, to quiet down your nervous system. That is a skill. That is a life skill that, man, oh manicotti, I wish I had learned in my life decades ago. And you know why I didn't learn this? And this is not a judgment, this is a statement. I did not learn how to kind of regulate my nervous system because my mother, who raised me, and my father, who raised me, did not know how to do it themselves. So, how can you teach something you don't know? Now, earlier in my life, I could easily be pissed at them and resent them and be mad at them for why I am the way I am. But there's also a lot of good stuff there. So I forgive them their trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, as they used to say in the biz. you know? But what I say is, just because you don't know something now doesn't mean you can't learn it. I have gotten so much better at all the downs, the quieting down, the calming down, the settling down, the writing down, the chunking down, so that I'm not overwhelmed. Because when I'm not overwhelmed, it's easier to start something. And man, when I start something and I know what the end result is, and the end result is something I want, it's so much easier for me to do that and get what I want at the end. Okay. Laura, I love that you love I just got some wacky sayings. Wacky sayings literally are something that my family is full of. I bet yours is too. So notice that just because you don't know something now doesn't mean you can't learn it. Every time you show up, I endeavor to try to teach you something new, or here's something I want to throw out at you. Whoo! Like kind of like a free t-shirt or something, not like flinging poo, monkeys flinging poo at the zoo. When I was driving home from the haircut place today, I realized that this is one of the great reasons why I have no interest in writing a book about Destination Decluttered. because it's really would either it would be distilled down into a pamphlet's worth of information because it's not as complicated as a book may make it seem. Now, a book would make it seem complicated because a book needs to be a certain size, a certain number of pages. So I may need to add extra things in order to make it look book worthy. But I will share with you with conviction that the destination decluttered method can be as easy as calming down, writing down, chunking down, and then making it so small and you're calm enough and you have the words in your head of I can do this little chunk that it gets you started. And literally lather, rinse, repeat. Literally. So notice, is it the calming? Do I need to unoverwhelm myself? Is it the chunking? Is it the writing? Which part of that could I use some practice at? Right? I kind of do all of them. Whatever I feel like I need, I realize I do it. I practice that part of it. Now, I have gotten better because I've been practicing this for years and I talk about it for hours on end. And I really do try to practice what I preach and live by example and all that. Um, So practicing this on a daily basis makes it easier for me to do it, but sometimes I do need to write it down and chunk it down and calm down my backseat drivers by writing it down. Now, here's a wonderful thing. Clara just sorted through a box of paper. Yes, love it. Louise had a plan for the day and it changed. So she's being flexible. She made a plan and it changed. Much like me, I planned on being live on TikTok at 11 a.m. and then I realized I got my haircut appointment wrong. So Louise' plan for the day changed. Taking pastina salad, that sounds delicious, to a friend who is facing a move and divorce, and declutter will happen tomorrow. And I love this because I do not want any of us to be so attached to a rigid plan that we forget that we're humans, that we say, no, I can't go visit a friend who is facing a move and a divorce because I told myself I have a plan to declutter and I'm following it blindly. Your heart is just as important as your head in your decisions. Your head may say, but we had a plan, we were going to do this. And your heart will say, or your co pilot version in your head can say, yeah, but a plan can be changed. A plan can be changed. And wouldn't you much rather be the kind person? Now don't be a doormat. Show up for yourself when you can. But if your friend could really use a friend right now, be the friend. The clutter is going to wait for you. The clutter is not going to be like, sorry, the window of opportunity is closed. No, it is going to sit there. It's funny. My hand is going this way, but it's actually much better if I point to these boxes right here that have been there for weeks. So yay, Louise, for being a good friend. Yay, all of us for being a good friend to ourselves. So have a plan, but be flexible. Flexibility is so much better than rigidity. Rigid things, are going to break. Be more like a wind in the willow or a willow in the wind than some sort of very uptight, stiff thing that's going to just crack and break. Okay. But don't be so flexible that you never make time for yourself and you're always bending over backwards for another. I mean, that's bending over backwards for somebody else. That's another thing entirely. Okay. So let me ask you this. This is one of the things I do like about the Destination Decluttered YouTube lives. There is substantially fewer people, and I do like that. I like a smaller, cooler group of people because I feel like we can have a civilized conversation. I also feel like, frankly, we can get a little bit deeper into things because we already know some of the basics, the calming down, the quieting down, the chunking down, the surface stored sentimental, the whatever, the that type of stuff. Okay. Um, Even though you kind of know all this stuff because we've been hanging around for a while, what can I help you with today? What could you need a refresher on? Where is a roadblock that has popped up in your life? You know? Hey, Ann Alexander. Hello. Nice to see you or meet you. What can I help you with today? I show up as a helper. I have a toolkit full of decluttering tools that I freely share with you. I don't do it for you, but I share with you the tools I have used to get less cluttered so that you can learn them too. Okay. Oh, first time finding me on YouTube. Welcome. So let me everybody say hi to Ann. You know, just wave or something. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Many of the people who have found me here on or YouTube have found me originally on TikTok, and I show up in both places. But nice to meet you. We have a wicked nice group of people here. You can obviously tell I'm from New England because I say wicked all the time. But nice to meet you. And I help people with their clutter. So that's what we're working on. So Clara is saying staying on track and focusing on a task. Okay. Okay, cool. So you found me on TikTok? Yeah, the yay for you and your gumption. Okay. Yeah. So staying on track and focusing on a task. Let me start with that one. And then Allie Catherine says, talk about the spontaneous goodness that comes with attending to decluttering. There is spontaneous goodness that comes with attending to decluttering. Yes, pretty much every time anybody mentions that they've decluttered in the comments, and then they say afterwards, and it feels so good. Okay. Now, um, okay, a bunch of good stuff is coming up in the comments, so let's spend some time with each of them. Okay. So Clara is saying staying on track. So notice a track. Think about it. A track is from here to there. A track, let's say staying on the road from here to where you want to be. So, this is where I want you to notice a few things and make a plan. See where the plan you make. First of all, notice what distracts you. Notice where you lose your focus, where you get distracted and you go off track. Is it something you see? And it's a habit too. Getting off track is a habit. And I'm not saying always stay focused, as I said, being flexible, but choosing to say, I have a choice here. I can choose to be going off the track and going in this direction, or I can choose to notice that and do something to come back later to that and remain on track. But I would even start with when's the last time? You don't have to get, when is the last time you started on track and then you got off track, that you started to focus on a task and then you stopped focusing on a task. When was that? You can put it in the comments, but just notice what happened there so that we have a better idea of how to problem solve it. Notice what I'm asking for, and I show this to all of you, is specificity. We can talk about things vaguely, but even when we're talking about things vaguely, there could be a specific moment that illustrates the last time that this happened. Okay? So think about that, Clara, and we can problem solve. Now, yes, the spontaneous goodness that comes with decluttering really is in spiritually, energetically, and literally in your home. You are literally making more space. When these boxes over here are gone, there will be more space in this room. Now, those boxes may be gone by donating, they may be gone by being stored elsewhere. But what I will do is I will not just donate them blindly and I will not just store them blindly. I will open up the boxes, I will see what's in there, and I will decide, do I want what's in that box or not? And again, what's in that box could be a variety of items. So I don't just say that whole box, I chunk it down. I dump out the box and I make categories. Okay. So chunking it down helps you kind of, instead of looking at one thing and one giant thing, even that one giant thing is made up of a whole different little things. Okay. Now, Heather MC. Okay. I have a roadblock. I brought home 10 boxes from the storage to integrate into the house. I got through 5. Yay for getting rid of, going through 5. Now I'm out of steam. Yeah. We are like steam engines. We are like gas engines. We are like electric cars. When we do things, when we drive along in our lives, we will run out of energy. The gas tank gets lower, the electric charge in our car goes lower. If nobody is shoveling coal in the steam engine of the locomotive, the steam will stop steaming. That's okay. Notice you're out of steam, and I will offer this to everybody. We talk about the surface clutter, we talk about the stored clutter and the sentimental clutter. Stored sentimental clutter is also kind of a subset of that. And sentimental clutter takes more energy to process than surface clutter. So it will take more energy. It's like putting your car in four-wheel drive. So your tank, rightly, will be more emptied when you are making emotionally involved decisions. So if you are out of steam, that's okay. Notice that. And how can you get some more steam in your engine? Now, here was a really interesting thing to me. I learned this when I was in Palm Springs. God, was it only last week? Yeah, I guess it was. I rented an electric car. Now, I am used to driving a gas car, and when you have a gas car, when your gas tank starts to like go to low into almost to E, you stop and you go zhuzh and boom, it fills up immediately. Charging your electric car is more like charging your human body, is that it may take longer than you want it to. You want to be filled up and get back in there. It's going to be doing it at the pace that it goes to. So I offer to you, Heather, and to everybody, work at a pace that feels good to you and notice when you're running out of steam. And also congratulate yourself on being halfway through those 10 boxes. But halfway through a road trip, also, you are tired. You are less bright eyed and bushy tailed than you were at the beginning. So you may need to chunk it down even further or just expect it to take a slightly longer time than you want it to. But know that you're making progress. Okay? Yeah. So notice that. There we go. Hopefully that feels better. Now I love it. Higher Ground says you helped me declutter, but I needed surface clean. So I rushed to clean today. So during the live, I can wander and declutter. I love it. So this is funny. Cat Ruby, I forget what I already said, but she says like peaches and herb. So all I can think of is, did we shake our groove thing? Did we shake our groove thing, or did we were we reunited and it feels so good? Yeah, you know. Now, so higher, okay. So Anne is saying one little task turns into five in different rooms. I want to put something away, but the other place is also cluttered. So I pinball around. Yeah, we all know about that. And my brain is doing the same thing. Something that has really helped me this week is to mindfully be wasteful. It's hard for me, but I'm just pitching some things, not thinking, but I can reuse this or this costs money. I hate it, but things go a lot faster. Oh, there we go. Decluttered and it feels so good. Thank you, Cat Ruby. Decluttered because we understood. See, I always think of when it feels so good, I think of Chuck Mangione. Ba 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 da ba 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 da. But that's an instrumental, so unless you know the name of the song is "Feels So Good," you may not know it. Yeah, so see, we have a number of Gen X pop culture references. So here's a couple of things that I want to notice. First of all, Anne, you're not unlike anybody else here who has puttered and decluttered or pinballed around. There is a place for that in decluttering, and sometimes it can feel really good to just putter and declutter. I did that this weekend because I didn't have a lot of energy because I spent some time hanging out with friends. I got some little things done. I did not have the mental bandwidth or the physical bandwidth to do some big decluttering. So notice sometimes the pinballing can be used to your advantage, but other times it can make you feel like you don't. Now, I am curious. I always get curious when I hear certain words. And one of the words I get curious about is hate. I hate it, but things go a lot faster. What we want to do is we want to get to that sweet spot, just like in a road trip, where you are cruising along at a pace that feels good to you and you're feeling good about the decisions you're making as opposed to hating the decisions you're making. So I would get curious about that. Okay. Judy Dukes, I see your hand up. Uh, I've got it right there. I don't know if you're asking a question, but feel free to put it in the comments. Um, but notice, I will say this, Anne, notice we go back to chunking it down. And also, that was the other thing when I was talking about chunking or calming down, writing down, chunking down is also surface stored sentimental. And then it's also the top down of a sentence in your head, your heart, and your hands. So notice you have a thought in your head that's come up, but I can reuse this. Have a conversation with that. Okay, yes, I could reuse that, but do I want to? Do I want to create the end result of that? Do I want to spend the time to reuse it? Or am I more excited about getting to that destination of decluttered? Am I choosing to not spend the time reusing it, but spend the time discarding it and then freeing up my time to do more decluttering and getting closer to my destination? You have a choice. Feel good about your choice. Feeling good about your choice to me means it aligns with your bigger destination. And for me, the really simple bigger destination, I think I don't want to say we could all agree on, but this is the basic premise for a destination that I think is kind of generic and enough that it would cover all of us. Your destination decluttered, my destination decluttered would be the following. I am driving towards a home that looks good to me. I am driving towards a home that functions well for me. And when I have a home that looks good to me and functions well for me, then I am also living in a home and I am driving towards a home that feels good to live in to me. If everybody wrote that down, I think we could all agree that driving towards that destination, whatever that looks like to us, whatever that functions like for us, and whatever that feels like to us, is a destination. Where's my head? A destination worth driving towards. Okay. Whoops, wrong way. There we go. Trying to get the destination decluttered little thing behind me. Okay. So does that seem like, is that what you all are driving towards? Is anybody driving in a different direction than a house that looks good to you, functions well for you, and feels good to you? Anybody going somewhere else? I'm just curious. I'm going to take a moment to sip some tea. If you're not driving in that direction, yeah. And this is the thing, yeah. Get such a good point, says LO. Instead of hating getting through the thought, realize that getting through is positive because you're growing through the discomfort. Yeah. Notice that if you're on a road trip and you're not enjoying the drive, it's not a road trip at all. It's a commute. And who the frick wants to be commuting through life? Enjoy the journey. When you're just getting through it, you're not enjoying it. Enjoy the journey. Learn from yourself. Some things will not be as pleasant as other things. For faux show. But notice when you're just trying to get through it, you may be losing some valuable lessons. And one of the valuable lessons, frankly, of decluttering is that you can do things that you were scared to do before. That you can do some things. You are not scared of things that you used to be scared of. You're learning to not be afraid. You're learning to not fear what you used to be afraid of. And when you learn that you can do things that you used to be afraid of, that builds your confidence in yourself. That you can do things that you used to be afraid of doing. And you are at a certain level afraid of a certain portion of decluttering. But you can do it. And as LO says, you're growing through the discomfort. Here's how I like to say this. Yeah, learn from yourself. It's really the only to me, it's the only long-lasting way. Learn what lights you up, learn what bums you out. Do more of what lights you up and less of what bums you out. Design a life like that, create a life. Your life is your creative expression, okay? Now, here's something that has really helped me, and I will give a real life example of it. I like to look at it instead of growing through the discomfort sounds good. I like to think of the word of I like to expand my comfort zone. Notice I am pushing out as if I have a bubble around me made of flexible saran wrap, or like this is going to be a deep cut. Gen Xers, super elastic bubble plastic. Anybody? I swear I can smell it right now, but it's clear. Okay. Having a bubble around you that is your comfort zone. Okay. And it can stay that way, but if you do not continue to expand it, it can retreat and your comfort zone gets smaller. There we go, Plastic Man. Why the hell not? Heads up to Plastic Man. The more you can stretch your comfort zone, what you're doing, I mean, think of it. You are increasing the amount of comfort you have in your life. You're saying, I can do things I was afraid of because I didn't run away. Now, Louise has reached her destination. She's got a scoot. Always a nice to see you, my dear. Okay. Now, I have walked that walk and talk. I don't just walk the walk. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I had a fight or flight moment when I was in Palm Springs. I have many of them. You guys may not think of it because I just show up to the internet with no makeup on and I don't even shower and I just like I'm here basically to the world. But in my own world, I have all sorts of times where part of me just wants to run and hide. Okay. And I have learned that if I run and hide, I am pulling back and I am making my comfort zone smaller. But if I stand there and know that on the other side of the comfort, I will a discomfort rather, that I will learn something, that I will feel good and I will have a real life example of when I didn't just run away, then that gives me courage for the next time it happens. Now, I think this is my premise. So I just offer it to you so you can see if this feels true to you. That all of us declutter up to the edge of our comfort zone, right? And at the edge of our comfort zone is really almost like when you get to has anybody seen this on TikTok where people say, oh my God, it's crazy. Like Las Vegas just ends and then there's desert. Same thing with Palm Springs. You get to the end of your comfort zone and then you have a choice. Your comfort zone allegedly ends here, but it is super elastic bubble plastic. If you choose to, you don't get outside of your comfort zone. Who the hell wants to be outside of their little comfy biosphere? I don't. It's uncomfortable out there. But what I can do is I can push it out so I expand my comfort zone. Okay. And how we do that is when we get to the end of our comfort zone, we think that we've stopped and that it's just like if you're on the road and you see one of those, like the road ends and there's a T, and the only thing you can do is turn to the right or the left. No, it is a crossroads. It is a crossroads. You may be in the habit of stopping and turning. Get more in the habit of going through the crossroads, continuing towards your destination. And instead of going on the outside of your comfort zone, you've pushed it out further. So now you can do the thing you used to be afraid of. Okay. So I like to rewrite that metaphor of get out of your comfort zone. Who the fuck wants to not be comfortable? I will not get out of my comfort zone. What I will do is I will expand it so I have a wicked large comfort zone. So I have a much wider range that's just comfortable for me. Have I been like this all my life? Fuck no. Fuck no. I grew up a scaredy cat. I'm learning to be different, and this is so much more fun. And my world is opening up as opposed to shutting down. So I hope that helps. Think about that the next time you do that. When you get to the edge of your comfort zone, you have a choice. But don't think it's choice of being warm or cold, inside or outside. It's increase your little biosphere. Now, Allie Catherine brings up a good point, and this actually came up on the TikTok live. Um, was somebody was saying they got a dumpster to clean out their house. Yeah. The dumpster method is good, yet we don't learn about ourselves much. Yes. What you learn about is you're afraid to make decisions on you're afraid for taking things long. Sometimes you have to get a dumpster. An external deadline requires that you move out of your house toot sweet. A there are different reasons. This is why we want to start the decluttering while you don't have an emergency pressing down on you. You know? Yeah. Now, Allie Catherine says, I live outside my comfort zone. I have to have discipline. The Buddhists say your enemy is your best teacher. It's a way of owning the inherent peace and wisdom within. Exactly. But I say this, you choose to look at it as outside of your comfort zone. And I say stretching your comfort zone so it incorporates what used to be outside is now inside. And I know there's some Buddhist thing that some guy probably said that aligns with that. But notice what both of these things are. And even the Buddhists. I totally got in the habit of saying it like that after listening to some guy on a um, on a meditation app, but I digress. All of us as humans on this planet, right now in 2025 and the millennia behind us, we tell stories. We say words in our heads to try to make sense of life. I offer that to you because you tell yourself stories. And I just say, do your stories help you live the life you want, or does it make it more difficult for you to live the life you want? You know? I'm laughing actually at putting on the Ritz, the reclining Buddha. One night in Bangkok, exactly. You better get back to your bars, your temples. Actually, we were playing that when we were in Bangkok. We did see a reclining Buddha, a wicked big golden barracuda Buddha. But I offer this to you. Buddha is a story. Christianity is a story. History is a story. It's a bunch of words that we read to try to make sense of the what the fuck are we even doing here, and to help guide us, ideally, in the direction that we want to go. So I offer to you that um, you, in your head, have a choice. What stories do you tell yourself about decluttering? Okay. What's the story of decluttering that you tell yourself? At the end of that story, are you more likely to get in and declutter, or are you less likely to go in and start decluttering? If you're not, by the end of your story, if you are not at least getting up out of your seat to declutter, question your story. Get curious about the words you use to describe the process of decluttering, and even better, pardon me, I feel like I need to use this hand now. Even better, the result of your decluttering, your destination, right? Why am I going to declutter? What's in it for me? And if your answer is not compelling, if it does not get you up off your keister and out deputtering and decluttering, then go back to the drawing board and come up with a destination that actually has some zhuzh for it, that makes it what's in it for me. Oh, you know what's in it for me? My house looks better to me, not just on the surface, but in stored and the amount of sentimental things that I have. My house functions better for me and for the people that live in it because we can easily find things, we can easily use them, and we can easily put them back where they belong. And when those things happen, I feel better when I'm in my home. And I spend a wicked long time in my home. So that means I feel better in every single room I go into. And if I don't, the thing that's cool about decluttering is I know how to change it when it doesn't feel good. I know what to do to make myself feel better in my home. Okay? So I offer that to you. I would say put that in your pipe and smoke it, but that seems a little bit, but just food for thought. How's that? Okay. Now, Higher Ground Welding and Art Ann Alexander says, my husband is at a conference in Vegas till Thursday. My goal is to have the dining room all decluttered by then and replace the older rug under the dining table. Awesome. Do it. And notice if and when the dining room starts to get cluttered up again. Now, the funny thing is, when I was growing up in the house that I grew up in, and actually here, we rarely dined in the dining room. So the dining room became kind of the dumping ground. You'd come in the back door into the kitchen and you'd turn the corner and you would dump the newspaper. My dad would dump his briefcase, stuff would just get dumped there. We had the habit of dumping stuff there. So even if it got all decluttered, if we didn't change our habits, the dining room would turn into the dumping ground again. Now, the other interesting thing too is you mentioned your husband. So I bet your husband is also in the habit of dumping stuff somewhere, you know? So notice that you are trying to do it when he's not there to kind of get down to like the where it looks good. I want to encourage you that decluttering is a two-step process. One of them is getting it decluttered. The other one is staying that way. Habits of being a less cluttered person, just like weight loss, losing the weight, keeping it off. Same thing, changing your habits. So I wish you every luck, sincerely, with getting the dining room all decluttered and replacing the older rug. And I also encourage you to, after it's like that, how are you going to keep it that way? It probably will require some change of habit. And that was a Elvis movie, right? And wasn't Mary Tyler Moore a nun? Change of habit. You can be Elvis and Mary Tyler Moore. You can change the habit. Okay. Yeah. So Allie Catherine is saying, a poet Adrian Rich asks, if you had time and no money telling stories, what stories would you tell? And says, if you know the end of the story, why tell it? Having too much stuff is like having way too many stories that demand attention, yet do not move a person along. Yeah. Now, I like to say this, every item in your home tells a story. Isn't it? What was his name? Was it the Small Faces or the Faces? Rod Stewart. Every picture tells a story, don't it? Right? Every item in your home tells a story to you. Is it a good story? Does it make it feel good? If it doesn't, you can change the story or just remove the item. That's what I say. Life is too short to be surrounded by stuff that tells you bad stories, that makes you feel bad. Because a bad story makes you feel bad. Now, Judy Duke says, on some things, oops, it just popped out of my vision here. On some things, I dreaded working on them, but they really weren't that bad and didn't take as long as I thought it would. Dread. Dread is the fear of something being painful, bad. Notice you were feeling bad in advance. And then when you got there, you're like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I made myself feel bad beforehand, but now as I'm in it, it is not as bad. So, you know what you did? Dread just makes you feel crappy twice or not at all. You can dread something and then do it, and it was no big deal at all. So this is neat. Judy Dukes, I would love for you to write a note to yourself and post it somewhere you see it. That you to remind yourself of what you learn when you declutter. When I dread things, sometimes they're not that bad and they often don't take as long as I thought they would. Okay? So notice that. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So I love Cat Ruby loves her some Elvis. Yeah, okay, so this is great. Anne has that for every room. You have destination house. Step into this room and make yourself comfortable. Start with one room. And I say this, chunk it down even more. You're starting with the dining room. And don't say it to somebody else, say it to you. What would make you comfortable in that room and other people? Now, if it's a third full of your projects, so is your third of that room where it looks good to you? Is that third of the room where it functions well? Can you find easily what you're looking for, use it easily, and put it away? If those two things are accomplished, honestly, I feel like the third is accomplished where you can look at your third of the room and feel good about it. Now, what are the other two thirds? You would do the same thing. You were chunking it down into thirds. Yeah. And the neat thing is when you chunk it down, you get it for that one room. And then you go to the next room of your house. And this is great when it's lather, rinse, repeat. Head and shoulders, people. I'd say Fabergé organic shampoo. I have a whole shampoo thing, which is you tell two friends and so on and so on. But it literally is you do the same, you use the same process in every single chunk of your house to get it to look good, function well, and feel good. It's the same thing over and over again. So just start with a small chunk, start with a third, get that to be doing it, and you've got a third that's more comfortable. Then another third, then the third, and then boom, there's that room. And then lather, rinse, repeat in every single other chunk of the room. So that's good that you know that you want that for every room. No, I love it. Kat Roby, Lisa Bennett saying, "I loved that movie." Kat Roby is an Elvis collector. I'll be honest with you guys. I have issues with Elvis because my ex-husband was a big Elvis fan. So I sometimes have a conflicting story because of Elvis reminds me of my ex-husband. So notice I have a story in my head that isn't just about Elvis, but it's what the stories in my head and how they make me feel about Elvis. But when I'm aware of them, I can notice the difference that it's not Elvis's fault that I have a resentment towards him. I don't have a resentment towards Elvis. I have some unpleasant memories of Elvis associated with unpleasant memories of my ex-husband. So notice the stories we keep for ourselves. I haven't seen my ex-husband in what year is this? Almost 30 years. Almost 30 years. And yet, there are some things that you carry around with you in your body, in your heart, in your head, the stories for the rest of your life that have nothing to do with clutter, but still make you feel a feeling. Okay. Now I'm taking a quick look at the time clock here. The time clock. When am I going to punch the clock? We got about 4 minutes left. Okay. So let me make sure. I'm just double checking here if I have a hard stop. I do have a hard stop. Okay. And uh, what's going to help you? This is what we do on the decluttering party. So really quick, and I'm literally going to be checking the Destination Declutter, the members only page that we have to look at. So the declutter parties that are coming up. Monday, May 12th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and then changed the start time of Saturday, May 17th. Oh no, 17th was going to start at 8:30. It was the 31st that's 8:30. So always go to the website to see the most updated information. Do not get in the habit of writing things or printing things out. I try to alert you when I've changed them, and I don't try to change them often, but occasionally they do when things come up. Okay. But we've got 4 decluttering parties in May. Take a look at them. Do any of them work for you? But also, we've got some more tomorrow TikTok lives and YouTube lives. Interesting. Interesting, Lisa Bennett. Back in the 80s, a young priest said, "When a stranger enters your home, what does your house tell about you?" He was making reference to if they know you're a Christian. I still think about it. Yeah. Um, okay, cool. I love this. And it's true. What does your house say to other people? But what does it say about you first? And if your house is filled with love and you love your house and you are comfortable in your house, other people will pick up on that vibe too. But your house does speak volumes about you. What are the stories your house tells you? Are they the stories you want to be told? If not, change the house, change the stories, change yourself. Kat Roby did not do the Nurses Week task. No, she did something that had been clouding her brain, and now she can have fun with the nurse thing. Cool. Cool. So own that, my dear. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. If you haven't signed up for the mailing list, which I think many of you have, but hop on to destinationdecluttered.com, sign up for the mailing list, and please look at the secret page. Okay. There's all sorts of good stuff there. And if you like what we did today, you can show up more. It's on my calendar. I love it. Okay. I'm going to sign off right now because I do have coaching and other stuff going on today. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we have a TikTok live and a YouTube live. They are scheduled. And then I'm off the digital grid Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it won't be until Monday, May 12th, where I show up. And the first time I show up on the 12th is going to be early in the morning, East Coast time. Okay. So keep in touch with the um with the uh the speakeasy page, okay, the secret page, because I changed that. I try not to send you as many emails. I only do it when it's important, but that page is really the best resource. Okay. There we go. Do the rubbernecking from the movie. Everybody dance away. You know, I love this. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I got to end the stream now, and I will see you tomorrow, if not some other time. Okay. Have an awesome day, and bye bye.